Hi, Year 10. Welcome back to your second lesson of week 4. The topic is Los Profesores, and I will give you the title here, Los Profesores. What we're doing this week, and we did in lesson 1, was looking at describing teachers with comparatives and superlatives. And you're going to be doing some more reading and listening today and looking at this vocabulary in a bit more detail. So, to start with, please, can you put the words in the correct order in each sentence? Okay, so the sentences are different. There are 5 of them, I think. No, it's not. There's 4 of them. 4 sentences. Within each sentence, the words have got muddled up. They're all comparatives or superlatives. Take about 3 or 5 minutes maybe to do this. Pause the video while you sort out the word order and then resume when you're ready. Okay, so I'm assuming that you've done this now, so here's the first one. Nuestro perro es el más grande. Nuestro, if you didn't know that, make a note of it, means our. It's the possessive adjective. It's describing the dog. Nuestro perro, our dog, is the biggest. So there's your superlative, el más grande. Second one. Mis pantalones son los más feos. My trousers are the ugliest. So mis pantalones son los más feos. Another superlative there. Another superlative. Number 3, número 3. This time it's comparative. Tu hermano es menos alto que tu padre. So here we're just one thing, one noun with the los más feos or los menos, whatever it would be. That's the superlative. Here's the comparative. We've got 2 things, a brother and a dad who are being compared. So tu hermano es menos alto que. There's your adjective sandwiched in between menos and que. Tu hermano es menos alto que tu padre. And the last one, esta falda es la menos cara. Now, esta is, to tell you what that is, that's a demonstrative adjective. You're describing it and demonstrating which one it is. It's this one. Esta falda es la menos cara. Okay, so correct those. Check that you understand it. If not, let me know or look back at your notes from last lesson. Okay, then moving on when you're ready. And we're going to do a reading. Now, you need to keep this on your screen, or you need to read it from your screen. So you can either take a picture of this so you can look at it separately, or you can go backwards and forwards between the questions that follow and this text. I'm just looking to see if I can bring up the next thing. Here's the first exercise I want you to do. It's a reading comprehension. So looking at the text back here, and these are the questions, or these are the phrases I'd like you to find, please. This term, new, it seems to me, and so on. You're going to be answering questions in a moment, but just first of all, find the words and phrases, write them down, please, English and Spanish, so that you've got both. You're going to need this for work you're doing later this week. Okay, so pause the video, find the words in the text on the previous slide, and then resume when you're ready. Okay, so I'm assuming it took you a few minutes, may have taken you 8 or so minutes to do this. Here are the answers. So this term, we saw this just now with this, I can't remember what it was. Is it this skirt? I can't remember now. Esta falda. This is going to be este curso because it's masculine, el curso. So this is este, demonstrative adjective again. New is nueva. It's obviously describing something feminine. I think it's the teacher, it's a new teacher. La nueva profesora. It seems to me. Me parece. This is the same. This is an indirect object pronoun here. It seems to me. It works the same way as me gusta that's using an indirect object pronoun as well. It's pleasing to me. Here we've got it seems to me. Too strict. Demasiado severa. So we've got the quantifier, the qualifier there, demasiado, with the adjective severa, too strict. I didn't understand. Now this is a preterite tense. Oh, that's just not, I beg your pardon. It's an imperfect tense, no entendía. So he didn't understand what was going on, no entendía. So it's an ER verb, entender, with the imperfect ending there. With me, conmigo. Now, you will see there with me, with you, with him, with her. Con is obviously with. There are two that you can have this sort of compound word with. Conmigo, with me. Contigo is with you. But if you want to say with him or with her, it's con él or con ella. So bear that in mind as well when you want to use that. Without, sin. You've seen that with agua sin gas, still water. It's not, hasn't got gas in it. It's not fizzy. Sin gas. It's not fair. No es justo. We saw justo as an adjective to describe teachers. Now it's this the behavior which isn't fair. She gives us, and it's homeworks, nos pone deberes. This verb here is poner. And here we've got another indirect object pronoun, nos pone. She gives to us. Poner is normally to put, actually, but it means she gives us, yeah. Yesterday, ayer, and in groups, en grupos. Okay, so hopefully you've got all those. There are quite a few to get, and some of them were quite tricky, but hopefully you managed to decipher the text. When you've corrected that and you're ready to move on, first of all, sort of pause the video, correct it, resume the video when you're ready to move on. Okay, now you need the same text, and this time you are answering the questions. Let's go back to it. Beg your pardon, this is very frustrating. Let's just go back in the PowerPoint. Here's the text, and here are the 6 questions. So, can you please now, looking at the text again, I'd like you to answer these. Who is Senora Torres? How does Jorge describe her? Why did she get cross with him last Tuesday? What punishment did he get? And then the last 2. You've got some help here that's going to give you some useful vocabulary. When you're ready, move on. Okay, so I'm guessing you've now done this. So we're going to go to the forward to where the answers are. We need to get past these first. Just a reminder of those. And here are the answers to the questions. So the first one, who is she? She is the new science teacher, la nueva profesora de ciencias. Número 2. She's a pain. There were 2. You had to answer, give 2 details here of how he described her. So 1, a pain. That was una pesada. Qué pesada eres. What a pain you are. You're a pain. Es una pesada. And the second detail is demasiado severa. She's too strict. Because he was chatting to his classmate. So this was, why was she cross with him? Because he was chatting to his classmate. He said it was because he didn't understand what her explanations. So he was just checking with his mate. Number 4, the punishment was he missed break. It was quedé sin recreo. Me quedé sin recreo. You can go back and you can look at that text again and find these phrases if you didn't quite understand them. Number 5, how does she compare to the old teacher? She's much more demanding. Exigente is the word for demanding. Es mucho más exigente. In número 6, what were they not allowed to do in science class yesterday? They couldn't, 1, talk, or 2, work in groups. No nos dejó hablar. She didn't let us talk, ni trabajar en equipo. So again, if you weren't sure of those, go back and look at that text again. It's a good text. It's got a lot of detail in there, and it's quite a lot of stuff that you can use in your own writing or speaking. Okay, so check your work, and when you are ready, move on. Okay, now I want you just to make a note of these. This means let's have a debate, a debate. So, ¿qué opinas de los profesores? What do you think of the teachers? ¿Qué te parece el o la profesor, profesora de? So if you were being asked, what do you think about particular teachers? How does that particular teacher seem to you? That's this one here. These might be phrases that you could use. Creo que, pienso que, I believe that, I think that. Para mí, for me, as far as I'm concerned. Me parece que, it seems to me that. Here you've got phrases to use in a debate. I agree or I don't agree. Estoy or no estoy de acuerdo. Es verdad, it's true. No es verdad, that's not true. Sin embargo, however, and this is a nice one, a pesar de eso, despite that. So you might be saying, well, it's, you know, homework is difficult, but despite that, it's useful. So make a note of these, please. Make sure you know what they understand, because you're going to be doing the listening next. A sound file is attached in Google Classroom, so you'll need to click on that. I couldn't get it to work within the PowerPoint. So if you can click on that and play it at your own pace, you'll need to go backwards and forwards a bit. It is quite tricky. The sort of scene is people chatting in the staff room, talking about different teachers. Quite gossipy conversation about the teachers. So here is your grid that you need to complete. You have 3 columns. Who are they talking about? So which teacher? Is it the history teacher or the French teacher or the PE teacher? What phrases do they use? I think that, I believe that, the ones that you saw on the previous slide. And do they agree or disagree? And for that, just put an A for agree, D, disagree. Okay, so I'm going to say pause the video, find the sound file in Google Classroom, please. It's labeled up as listening for lesson 2, and then do the exercise. You can go backwards and forwards in the recording as much as you like. When you're ready, move on or sort of resume the video, and then we will do the corrections. Okay, so this was the first one. They were talking about the geography teacher, profesor de geografía. Phrases they used were creo que, estoy de acuerdo. And they agree with each other. The second one, they were talking about the English teacher. Phrases you would have heard, pienso que, no estoy de acuerdo, they didn't agree. One had quite a different opinion. Oh, and creo que. Third one, they were talking about the drama teacher. A mí me parece, she seems to me. The other person didn't agree, so it was definitely disagree. The fourth one they were talking about was the French teacher. Para mí was the phrase that they used in the debate, or in the, not debate, but in the conversation, and they agreed with each other. So estoy de acuerdo, and you got an A there for agree. Creo que. And then the final one was PE. One had one opinion, the other one disagree with that. I'm against that. I'm of opposite opinion to that. Estoy en contra de. So they disagreed. So there were your phrases. These are the geography teachers, and agree, disagree. Don't worry if you didn't understand all of that. It's quite difficult understanding that sort of conversation, but hopefully you managed to identify some of the phrases, and certainly hopefully the teacher they were talking about. Oh, I missed one out there, sorry. No estoy de acuerdo. Okay, so make a note of that. If you missed a lot, then go back and have another listen to the sound recording, because it will be helpful to develop really nice level language. Okay, so my computer is still buffering, but that brings up the objectives to say that we've managed to, this in the 2 lessons so far, we've done a lot this week so far, describing teachers, looking at comparatives, superlatives, and now doing some listening and reading tasks. So if you can just set yourself a quick target based on how you've done today, what have you learned, and what target can you set yourself to improve? And thank you very much for your hard work again, Year 10. I appreciate it. Adios.